What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel and I'm your host. Today is Wednesday the 20th of June and it's barely 6:53 a.m. Boo-boo. What are you doing? Are you getting done with your morning routine, or are you like most and barely wiping the boogers out your eyes? Boo, stop lying. You wiping them boogers out your eye? Nasty.
I ain't the tallest, I ain't the strongest, I ain't the biggest, I ain't the boldest, I ain't the hottest, I ain't the richest. It's one thing about the motherfucker tables, man, they always fucking turn.
Anyway, today's topic, valuable topic of the day, to celebrate Hump Day, we're going to talk about differentiation. Yup, the difference. Notice how my eyes went up and around. Did you know that that is a tale for thinking? Like when you have to recall something, you actually look up like, right? That's a sign for thinking. And so if you happen to do face-to-face sales and the person you're talking to or anyone you're talking to, doesn't even need to be a prospect. If you ask them a question, they go like this, it means they're thinking. If they go like this, they're thinking about like down to the left. I think that means visual. They're thinking of something visual, so they're a visual learner. Or if they look down towards the right, it's actually lying, right? And there's this study that shows you like how to read eye movement. And so like if they go up, right, up left, up right, or if they go to the side middle or right middle or lower right or left right, it tells you what kind of learner there are. Anyway, the reason I'm even going down that path is you notice I went like this when I picked the topic is because I didn't know what the topic was. I wanted to try something different, and so if you're not on the Instagram feed yet on the live, I'm shooting out this interactive engagement with the audience who catch me on the live. If you want to know when that live happens, I'm in Pacific time, I'm in the West Coast, I'm in California, and on my morning sessions at the gym, depending on when I go Monday through Sunday, typically around 6:15 a.m. towards 6:45 a.m. within that half-hour window, I finish off my workout with at least 15-20 minutes of cardio. Hence the reason why I call it cardio session. And so I'm gonna flip it around where my first few audience members in that live session have an opportunity to determine the topics of the video, or the topic of that session, at least by being one of the first and shooting out a topic. So you could put a topic on anywhere, plastic silverware, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'll go on about that topic. But here's the interesting part is that all it is improv, and sales in itself. What differentiates the winners and the mediocres and the below average typically is the difference between them is their ability to improv. It's their ability to think quick. It's their ability to be creative in the moment. And so you'll know you're having issues being creative because, sometimes with some of the information I've shared, and I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong by doing this. If you're doing it, hey, I used to do this all the time, but you might be rewinding some of the content just so that you could write down verbatim, like, how did he say that? Like, and you're looking for word for word for word, and you actually try to say it verbatim to your prospect. And it never seems to work because it doesn't match. It's not in sync with your own tonality. It's not in sync with your message. And it'd be kind of like me and you talking, and then just out of nowhere, I just busted out like, you know what I mean? Just some random SWV songs. Like, you get me weak in the knees, I could hardly, like just be random as fuck, right? You'd be like, what the fuck was that? And the reason being is because even though the words sound dope when SWV sang it, man, you remember weak in the knees. Get out of here. Stop lying. Man, if I remember to leave the link in the video to SWV Weak in the Knees, you'll remember Weak in the Knees. Side fact, I think I literally hooked up with at least 3-4 girls from junior high to that damn song. And so, link below the video on SWV. I need to bring that back, man. Hey, I think I'm gonna make that my new Sting intro. Anyway, the differentiation, back to the topic of this video, and what separates us from most, and I'm gonna show you how to apply it towards your own personal mindset, is the differentiation. Here's why. The differentiation is what puts you in a different bracket. It puts you in a different demographic. It puts you in a different circle. And so let me explain. If you've ever caught anyone in upper management, executive management, or wherever you are, you might even have a neighbor or a family member who is at socially, they're just, or even, professionally, they're just at a particular level that's above, at least a couple levels above you or your immediate circle, right? And so they might be an executive manager, they might be an owner, they might be a CEO, and you're going to notice that their circle or their pocket of people or their mentality, their attitude, their kind of their way of thinking, right, is different than ours. If you notice their way of thinking, when I say I'm talking about like the upper echelon. So again, entrepreneurs, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be anyone who typically is above the level of the common way of thinking. You're going to notice that most of them delegate, right? Most of them delegate because they only focus their time on their strengths, whereas they don't try to wear every hat themselves. And so those who are below that level that we're using as an example, they don't delegate, right? Like we don't, some of us don't delegate. We'll try to take on the whole grind because we are wired to believe that that's our job. Well, there was this small pocket of people who got the different memo, and that different memo has to do with delegation. It has to do with teamwork. It has to do with networking. It has to do with creating masterminds, right? Did you know masterminds, by the way, is how all great enterprises started? Did you know that mastermind is how the government started? Do you want to know the earliest form of a successful mastermind? One of the proven concepts of the power of mastermind is the Declaration of Independence. That was actually put in place by one of the original masterminds. And so the reason why I share this is because I just picked up a new book from Napoleon Hill called Hidden Speeches or Hidden, I don't know. Here you go. Here's your incentive now to go check out the Facebook or the Instagram. Inside the live feed today, I'm gonna put a post of this book that I'm talking about. And if you ever read the notes below, I'll try to remember to leave a link on this video of the book that I'm talking about. Anyway, Napoleon Hill is probably one of the OG salesmen of our time, bro. He's one of the OG salesmen. Like, this dude was closing what you and I didn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, you and I, we're still part of our granddaddies, if that makes sense. And so while we're swimming in the sack, Napoleon Hill was out there booking people, bro. Like this dude created so much of an audience and a following, and you have to give him credit. And when you look up, you might be like, who's Napoleon Hill? Is that Napoleon Dynamite's cousin? No, boo-boo, get your fucking mind right, bro. Napoleon Hill is one of, it's like, it's like Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. Napoleon Hill is like one of the legends. He's known for his book, Think and Grow Rich, which is an amazing book, by the way. The reason why I like it is because when you read or when you get I don't read the book. I didn't read the book. Not that I'm illiterate, motherfuckers. Just I don't like reading shit. And so I got the audiobook. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And when you hear Think and Grow Rich, you hear the outline of every successful business from that point all the way up until now. Now you see like, oh, that's why IBM did it, or that's why Apple did it. Oh, that's how this person's winning, or oh, that's how Grant Cardone's winning. And all these different models that you see. Well, Think and Grow Rich has a lot to do with the concepts that are in there. And so what I found in actually reading this book, because I owned the book for damn near 10 years because I thought it was cool, right? All the people who were on that different level were talking about it being cool. And so I thought in order to, get my mindset right, I had to go pick up certain books. But again, like I just said, I didn't like reading. So I picked up these books and they just sat. And then years go by, and then I have the ability to get the audiobook. And so I got the audiobook again. Years went by, I didn't even fucking touch the audiobook, but until recent, and now it just makes so much sense because I am in a different state of mind. And I believe that you have to be ready for certain things to come into your life. You could want it all you want, but until you are ready, it's not going to happen. And so like I wanted a 10-figure paycheck for the longest, bro. Like I wanted it so bad. I was doing everything that I can. I was working 14, 15, 16-hour days. I was sacrificing the weekend. I was getting to the point where I just felt like I was just spinning circles, you know? And so I got to a point where I was like, man, you know what, forget this. Got to a point where I was almost going to quit, I promise you. I was literally getting out of it, I know, right? At the height of the market too. I was literally just gonna give up and just go do something else because I was just done with trying to get it. I felt like, you know what, I don't got no college degree. You know what, I got this background. You know what, I talk like this. There's just no way I could do it. And so ultimately, within like about 2 months of that time of me getting to my rock bottom, I was able to smash it. Not only did I smash it, but for those of you who know the story, I smashed it, bro. And all it took was just one slight adjustment to the model and the process that I had. And so that slight adjustment, which if you don't remember, the slight adjustment went from me talking about, you know, it's basically the way I pitched my deals. It was the formula, it was the sequence of how I pitched my product. And the way I formulated it, meaning the way I opened it, the way I kind of framed the sales pitch, it made just a hell of a difference in regards to selling it. And so when I learned this new technique from one of my first mentors, it was crazy, bro. It's like someone, you know what I mean? Like, you ever been in a convertible car? Or you ever been in like a sports theater or sports arena where the top just comes off and shit? You're like, damn, bro, no ceiling. It's kind of like that feeling, like, damn, sky's the limit, right? And I want to teach you this formula. And so I invite you to go check out the sales script by now. If you haven't checked it out, you know, there's a link right below this video. It's called Banker Script. And regardless if you're a mortgage banker or not, boo-boo, you can use that sales script on anything that you like. You know, you can use that sales script on anything that you need to take over and drive the conversation on. And so I share this with you because, you know, the book from Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich, what he's doing is he's outlining a formula that the absolute most successful follow. And then there's that one aha moment where you put 2 and 2 together and you're like, damn, everything he's saying, all these successful people around me are doing it. And so if that book that he wrote, I don't know when he wrote, I think it's like 1910, bro. Like, it's old. Like, there's some videos on YouTube, you know, just look them up, Napoleon Hill. And don't be looking up Napoleon Dynamite, bro, getting stuck on quesadillas and fucking, what was his homie's name? Man, was it Pablo? Vote for Pedro. That's a banging movie, man. But anyway, Napoleon Hill, what I'm talking about, Napoleon Hill. You know, look him up. He has a couple videos on YouTube. One's called Law of Attraction #1. There's even video, like back then before they had internet programs, it was like all radio and shit. And so he was sitting at a desk, I think in front of a live audience. It's weird, man. Anyway, I give him mad credit, mad respect, because, you know, he was booking people when there was no technology. You know, I don't even know if there's a phone yet. Like, this is old, bro. This is dated. I think it's like older than your oldest grandma and grandpa. And so, you know, when you take a peek at it, it's going to be weird because you'll be like, man, I don't want to watch this old shit. Is this Chaplin? Is this Chaplin? Man, if I see one caption, I'm turning this bitch off. And no, it's not, man. Listen to him. I mean, you know, it's kind of like if you close your eyes or you listen to it, it's kind of like if your great-great-grandma or grandpa was to tell you some stories. You know what I mean? Like, before, when I was young, I didn't really care about what the elders said. If anything, I just wanted to kind of put a mask on in front of elders, you know, like keep it moving, like respectful, but, you know, I'm gonna go do some shady shit. That, I know, it's weird. But nowadays, like, I look at elders and I look at just tons and tons of experience. Like, I want to learn what they went through. I want to know what it was like when they were my age, you know, and I want to realize, or I at least want to experience life through their eyes at some point that they can recall, because if they can recall that memory, it's ingrained with them. And I'm certain that they will be more than willing to share it with you, because it brings them back to a specific time. And, you know, one thing that I believe that we can take from this video today is to find a way to be different. And in order to be different, you need to be on a different wavelength. You need to be on a different energy level. You need to be on a different frequency. And so I bring that frequency to you. I bring that frequency to you via YouTube, via Facebook, via Instagram, via Snapchat, right? So I got these different methods of bringing, that frequency to you. But let me show you how to do it right in sales. Download this banker sales script below. If you're serious about this game, like you wanna, you're like, yo, D man, I'm just fucking ready, bro. Like, you these videos got me hypey as fuck. I'm over here doing that hype dance. Just show me the formula of the sales game, and I will. Right below the banker script link below, there's another link that says course library. Click on it, and it's gonna take you over to my courses. And if you want the formula, I got that for you. Click on the secret formula, and it's going to show you, regardless of your experience level. Most in particular, if you're seasoned and you think, oh man, this is for newbies. No, it's not for newbies, boo boo. It's a blueprint. You know what I mean? Like, even the most experienced builders still reference a blueprint. Even the most experienced flight pilots still go through a blueprint or a checklist. And so what I've found is that if you have an organized checklist that's centralized in one location that consistently teaches you the same method, the model, the message in order, in sequential order, I have found that it's not only easier to retain, but it's easier to understand the thesis and philosophy behind the sales method outlined here at Sales Remastered. So I invite you to go check it out. I recently put up access to a free preview of the content, and I invite you to check it out. If you need a payment plan on it, I get it, boo-boo. Send me over an email to help@salesremastered, and I'll hook you up. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
I get it now, the shit that I grew up with. Never used to be a part of the subject. Now they youth in my town about to run shit. Make a move and everybody trying to run with shit. Still we on first. Never leaving the paper, I'm so cursed. Damn straight, and if I hit the damn brakes, know that it's a hand.